Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another Rise of Heroes guide video for you, and what we're going to be doing is we are going to be looking at a very easy team to take down the Civ Dragon. This is a team that is really easy to put together. A lot of these units are free-to-play friendly and are very easy to farm and then get their skill ups farmed as well. And in all honesty, Civ Dragon is probably one of the easiest elemental dragons to start making progress on. And the reason why we're also looking at Civ Dragon first is because a lot of the units that we've talked about already in our Black Dragon guide video, as well as this video, are Civ. So this is one of the elemental dragons that you're really going to want to start pushing early so that you can start getting some of these other units that you have awakened early on, and that's going to really help you. Because when you get a unit awakened, you get, sometimes you get a brand new skill, or you get like a big stat boost in like one specific stat. But you get stat boosts across your entire unit as well. So being able to get these units awakened is really helpful in progressing into the game. So the main unit that we are going to look at today when it comes to taking on Civ Dragon, and again we're going to be looking at floor 7, because as we mentioned in the previous video where we talked about the Black Dragon, floor 7 is kind of like the minimum floor you want to make sure that you're focusing on. Any floor lower than that is not really the best use of your energy, so floor 7 is like the minimum floor that you want to be able to get so that you can consistently farm any type of dragon, or Amit boss, or any boss for that matter. So the main unit that we're going to look at today is Alexandra. Alexandra is essentially the key unit on this team to take down the Civ Dragon. The Civ Dragon has an insanely high health pool, like it's ridiculously high. So you want a unit that will do one of two things. You'll want a unit that will either inflict bleed, which Alexandra does, or you want a unit that does damage that scales off of the enemy's max HP, which Alexandra also does. So we're going to take a quick look at her skills. We'll show you where you can get her, and then we'll show you where you can farm her skill ups as well. So her first skill here, it attacks one enemy, and then if a critical hit is dealt, extra damage is dealt as well. And the higher the enemy's max HP, the higher the damage. This is referring to the bonus hit. So she'll still hit that normal hit, but if it's a crit, you'll see some extra damage flash in there, and we'll take a peek at that once we get into the dragon in a little bit. Her second skill here gives a speed boost and a crit boost to herself for 3 turns and moves her action bar up by 70%. This is really helpful. Not only is she going to start moving faster so that she can get extra hits on the boss, but she gives herself a crit boost, which her main two skills that are used for the Civ Dragon rely on getting crits. So the fact that she's got a crit boost on her kit already is super helpful. And then her final skill here is attacks one enemy twice, and then each hit inflicts a stack of bleed. So this doesn't actually rely on crits. This relies a little bit more on accuracy. But each time she hits, it's going to inflict a stack of bleed for 3 turns. The 3 rounds is when she's awakened. I believe it's 2 rounds when she's unawakened. So getting a bleed off on this on the Civ Dragon is very helpful, because again, every time a bleed ticks, it's going to do damage based off of their max HP. So super helpful, a very handy unit to make really good progress against the Civ Dragon. If you've got lucky and you've pulled another bleed unit, like if you've pulled the Nat 4 Ali, he is absolutely insane for this boss. He applies so many stacks of bleed, and he is very useful. But Alexandra is a just as valuable unit. You can pick her up early, and she's very easy to skill up, and she can take you right up to Civ 7. I think I even used her to push into 8 and 9 as well. So we're going to go show you where you can get her. It's very easy to pick her up. All you have to do is basically just start making progress on the Civ Dragon. So you're going to go into challenges, and then you're going to go into the Tower of Dragons. And then once you defeat Civ Dragon on the 3rd floor, you will get yourself an Alexandra. So dragons early on, like stages like 1, 2, and 3, you don't really have to worry about their main mechanics all that much. Your main team that you're starting off with early on in the game, like Jasmine and Bashik and some other units that you pick up, should be just fine to take down Civ Dragon 3, and then you'll nab yourself an Alexandra. Once you start progressing into, you know, like floors like 5, 6, and 7, that's when you're going to really have to start actually paying attention to what specific mechanic each dragon does, and being able to pick up Alexandra early on is really going to help you. So that is where you can get yourself a free Alexandra. You can also get her from Silver Lamp Summon, so if you've already pulled her there, then that's great. In terms of farming skill ups for her, you're going to go to the desert, and you're going to go to the southern desert here, number 5. Now, there is a 3 obelisk path that you can hit. We'll boot this up here and we can show you. So there's a path that you can hit 3 obelisks there. It's the bottom one, and then the top middle one, then the bottom right one, and then you can hit the boss. You can hit those 3 obelisks, and you'll be able to get some shards. Not for Alexandra specifically, but you'll be able to get some Rosalie shards. Now, Rosalie is the same kind of unit that Alexandra is, so using Rosalie's to rank up or level up your Alexandra will also get Alexandra skill ups. It's similar to the genies, how you can use Usals to get skill ups on Usul, Assam, and Cabot. So, that is pretty much the main unit you want to use when it comes to taking down the Civ Dragon here. Some of the other units that we're going to highlight here, we're not going to talk about them in too much detail because we did already cover them in the Black Dragon video, which that will be on the end screen of this video if you want to go take a look at some of these units a little bit more in depth. But before we do that, actually, I want to go and look at and show you how I have my Alexandra gemmed, because we forgot to do that earlier. I have her on 3 different two gem sets. So I've got her on a lightning set to give her some extra crit rate, because her first skill will do that extra hit if she lands a crit. So the more crit she's got, the better she'll do. I've got her on a Hawkeye set because she needs extra accuracy to land those bleeds off of her 3rd skill. So the more accuracy she has, the more likely she is to stick those bleeds. And then I've given her an HP set just to give her a little bit more survivability, and this is really helpful when it comes into floor 7 and then up into floor 8 and floor 9 as well. Having that little bit of extra HP just helps her survive that much longer. In terms of the gems 4, 5, and 6, I've got crit rate on gem 4. Again, the more crit rate she has, the more likely she's going to land that extra damage off of her first skill. We've got accuracy then on gem 5. Again, the more accuracy she has, the more likely she's going to land bleeds off of her 3rd skill. And then just some extra attack here, which I'm probably eventually going to swap this out to speed, because her attack stat is not really super important here, because the main damage is coming off of landing a crit and getting the extra hit or her bleeds. So her attack stat doesn't really do too much for her here, so I think I'm probably eventually going to flip this out to a speed gem or some HP if she needs to have a little bit more survivability. But that is our Alexandra. So in terms of some other units that are really helpful, we've got our Meg here. She has a lot of skills that can speed up your team. It's mainly her 3rd skill here, gives speed up to your entire team. She also applies an attack reduction and armor reduction on her 2nd skill. And then you can also get her aura unlocked to give a little bit of extra crit rate to your entire team, which Alexandra is going to benefit from for her 1st skill there. We also, let's not remove him, we also use Cabot here. Cabot is super helpful because Cabot has 3 rounds of attack and armor boost to your entire team. The attack boost is not super helpful here, again, because of bleeds and max HP damage, but the armor boost is really handy here. The slow is also super handy on the 2nd skill, as well as having a blind on the 1st skill. Just some extra debuffs that are really handy to have, so we'll stick him back in the team there. Usul, just as, you know, pretty much as a standard healer and attack reducer. Usul also has an attack up on the heal, but again, that's not really important here. The important thing is having that heal. And then on the 1st skill here, there is the attack reduction that lasts for 2 turns. Now, another unit that I use here is Princess Issa. Now, Princess Issa was recently available for free-to-play players. There was an event tower that came out called the Tower of Dream, where if you were able to complete the first 2 floors, you were able to nab yourself a Princess Issa. So if you got her, she is a super handy unit to use here as well. But in all honesty, all you really need is just like a 2nd healer unit here, because the main thing you want to do is keep Alexandra alive, or whoever your bleeder is, you just want to keep them alive. So Scarlag is another good option here if you have Naren as well. Some other really handy options to go in that 5th slot. It doesn't have to be Princess Issa, that's just who I use. So yeah, that is the team. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start the battle here, and we're going to skip through the trash. We're going to come back once the Civ Dragon's flying in, and we'll get to see this team in action against the Civ Dragon. Alrighty, so the final trash mob just died, and here comes the Civ Dragon. So the main thing that we're going to be looking at here is just how well Alexandra performs here. So Alexandra's about to go now. So there is the 2 stacks of bleeds. So because of her extra accuracy, she was able to land both of those stacks of bleeds. Now against Civ Dragon 7, each stack of bleed is going to hit the dragon for 23,000 damage. And as well as that extra hit that you just saw right there. So you saw the about like the 2,300 in the gold, and then there was the 23,000 in the white numbers behind it. That was the, and again just there, that's the extra hit that you get for landing a crit on her first attack. And then the bleeds continue to tick every time the Civ Dragon takes a turn. And then here we go, we landed another 2 stacks of bleed. So because there's 4 total bleed debuffs on the dragon right now, when it moves, it's going to take 23,000 damage 4 times. So you'll see that pop up in just a second here once these genies go. But there we go, 23,000 damage 4 times, and you just see how much the boss's health bar ticks down. The other thing to notice here is that when the other units on the team are attacking, so the genies or Meg or Princess Issa, the boss's health bar barely moves. So if you're not using units that make use of bleed or enemy max HP percent base damage, you're gonna be fighting this dragon for a very, very long time. So being able to reliably land bleeds and get those extra really heavy hits in is your key to being able to take this dragon down. And there you go. That is Civ Dragon 7 in not that long of a run, about 2 minutes 42 seconds. I can get floor 8 done in close to the same amount of time with this same team as well. So there you go. That is a very, very basic team that you can put together that is relatively easy to skill up and very free to play friendly. And then you can start making progress against the Civ Dragon, because like we mentioned earlier, a lot of the units that you're going to use early on, like even Jasmine and Bashik, all those guys, they're all Civ. So being able to make really, really good progress on the Civ Dragon early on is key to being able to awaken a lot of your key units that you're going to use for like Amit Tower and Expedition and a whole bunch of other modes later on in the game. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If it helped you, be sure to leave it a like down below. Also, feel free to let me know in the comments if you've got some other units that you're thinking might work against the Civ Dragon. We can theory craft down there. Or if you have any questions about your units or just any other questions about anything we discussed in this video, feel free to leave those down in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you. But that's going to do it for now, so take care, and I'll see you all in the next video.